Discovered my husband's secret affair with his best friend's wife, the same woman who helped improve our marriage and turned our lives around. Everything changed about 3 years ago and my husband became my dream man. Before that, we suffered a lot in our marriage. After 2 hard pregnancies and PPD, my libido was diminished and we fought all the time. After 4 years of dead bedroom, we started therapy. I thought that was where the improvement came from. My husband started paying attention to me. In the beginning I was panicking because whenever he paid me attention before he expected sex, but now it felt like he was seeing me as a human being for the first time. He was attentive and caring. Emphatic. He touched and cuddled and kissed me out of the blue, without wanting sex in return. He started helping around the house, bringing me flowers, take out dinners when I work late, planning date nights. Anniversaries, birthdays and holidays are planned perfectly and I started getting the most beautiful and thoughtful gifts. When we fought, he would come the next day and admitted his wrongs, and very accurately, if he was the one in the wrong, something he never did before. He would apologize too, when back in the days him apologizing would be a blow to his ego. He said he was happy all the time and lucky to have us as his family. Everything was better and I even got my libido back, if not as high as I hoped. I found their conversation about 5 days ago and I have probably spent over 50 hours reading them. 3 years worth of conversation. He would tell her his woes and she would listen. 99 out of 100 times she sided with me. She taught him about intimacy and how important it is in marriages. The tragically funny part is that he never got angry or offended by her telling him off. Calling him silly, stubborn or at times man baby. Her honesty was brutal and yet he agreed with her. She was the one suggesting all the changes and he would ask her for advice about gifts, traveling and all the beautiful things he did for our family. He thanks her all the time for helping him turn his miserable home life around, making it tolerable. With all these texts there were the texts between them that are about them like nobody else existed around them. The flirting, sex talk and pictures. The longing to see each other. He says she is the love of his life every day and that he wishes their circumstances were different. She says the same. They both agree that divorce would ruin their families and that they couldn't be that selfish. How admirable. I feel nauseous. My happiness for the past 3 years was fake. I don't know what to do. I want to hurt them. I want to expose them and I want to ruin whatever they think is perfect happiness. Hi. I'm getting chat requests about my comments not being visible. Is this normal? I'm trying to answer you guys. Sorry. Hi again. Since I can't comment and I can't answer all the chats, I will answer here. I am 35. My husband is 39. We have 2 children, 9 and 7. She is 40 and she has 1 child, 14. She is in a dead bedroom with her husband too and for 14 years. The affair is physical too, yes, but they meet maybe once every month or every other month. She tells my husband that what they feel is probably limerence but that they don't know it yet because they meet so little. She lives in another city. Update 1. I finally decided that I really should reach out to the husband of my husband's mistress. I found him easily and I contacted him. He didn't believe me at first and was rude about it and told me to go F myself. I hesitated to contact him again, to be honest, but after a few days I realized that I would too not believe a stranger just popping in my DMs accusing my so of cheating, so I recorded my husband's phone with my phone. Especially the messages where she sent explicit photos and stuff. I also went to the contact to show the number. He didn't answer me the first day, then he called me the C word and blocked me. I thought, well, then, I have done my part and it's on him if he believed me or not. Then after a week my husband came home angry and he yelled at me for exposing them. He asked me why I didn't confront him instead. My problem was with him. I have never seen him yell like this. Then he packed a bag and left for about a week. I think he's traveled to her. When he got home he said that it was over. He said that he has been trying to make me happy for years and he's done everything a good husband would do, but still, nothing was good enough for me. I've made him miserable for years and instead of taking it out on him, I chose to hurt a woman and her child. He moved to his parents' house and now he's renting an apartment. I have heard that he travels the weeks he doesn't have the children to be with her and that she's moving here soon when she gets full custody of her child. I have not been feeling well at all. He has never spoken to me directly since he left and I haven't seen him. He adamantly refuses to talk to me. Like I never existed in his life. I don't know what I have done to deserve this treatment. I hate that they won. Update 2. He didn't blame me for anything. He doesn't care that he cheated. He was only angry that her husband hurt her and her child. Maybe my post was this convoluted that everyone here is thinking he is trying to put the blame in me? He doesn't care at all. He just thought that I should have confronted him instead because he was the one who cheated on me. I told everyone around us what he'd done and he doesn't even care. The last 3 years of your marriage were a lie. You know that now. Who he is, the person he treated you before his affair partner had to convince him to be good to you. He is not a good person. Do they even really know each other? Like how it is to be around each other on a daily basis. They are genuinely dumb to think the list will stay with 3 kids around plus handling chores and day-to-day things of life. They have 2 custody battles, 8 of them, and divorced on top of it. If he's angry with you the next time you have to see him, ask him why. He got what he wanted. He wanted to be with her and now he is. So why is he angry that you gave him what you wanted? It's probably shame that he's painted to be a cheater. Not he can't manipulate the narrative and paint you as the bad person. If what they want is each other, let them have each other. They are both awful people so they deserve each other. He is not angry about the divorce. He is angry I told the husband instead of him because the husband hurt her and her kid. He's not angry BC of that. He always assumed that if you found out he could gaslight you into thinking that it was somehow your fault or not happening, but by you telling the other husband, there was no getting around it. No, he is angry about me putting his AP in danger. He gives zero fucks about staying in our marriage or not. He only was with me to help raise the children and probably wait for her to get rid of her husband. I am not trying to be dramatic here, but the sooner I realize the truth the better is for me to move on. I think you didn't ruin a wife and child's life. The cheating wife did that herself. She deserves everything bad that happens to her. As for your cheating pile of crap, lawyer up and divorce him. You will be much happier. Nobody deserves to be hurt, especially not children, but I didn't know you probably should not have let your mill in on this idea. Her first reaction is going to be that it will threaten her ability to see the grandkids and her son's ability to be a father. Even if you think she is on your team, have to assume she isn't. Yeah, it was a big mistake. I did the same and told the woman's husband that she was cheating. Purely for revenge too. It didn't feel good and she ended up in the hospital. It didn't get the effect I craved either. That my husband would come begging to forgive me. Instead he was repulsed by me, especially Beck. She and her kid were hurt because of the revelation. / comment, don't believe your husband if he says his mistress was abused. It's the sort of lie he would use just to make you feel guilty. Your husband is a practiced liar, keep in mind that this is likely untrue coming from him. / comment, it seems to me that the AP was in an abusive relationship and was preparing her exit strategy. The WP seems done with the marriage and was also preparing to leave. Exposing the affair put the AP in danger, and that seems the reason why WP is so angry and his comment about hurting a woman and child. I think he expected her to be angry at him and when exposed confess and get a divorce. Instead she hurt the women he loves. Again, this is just an explanation to understand the circumstances. I definitely don't condone cheating and have a rather intense disgust for cheaters. Still food for thought. That's exactly what happened. You wrote it better this morning. I got a call from my mother-in-law that my husband has been in jail for the past couple of days and only got out this morning, but the charges weren't dropped. Apparently his mistress and her husband had another altercation last weekend and she ended up hurt again. Now I want full custody of my children. He is out but charges are not dropped, so it will probably lead to some punishment. I don't know if family court would count this in case I want full custody and supervised visits. My mother-in-law was hostile when I told her this and she's one of the people who have supported me, so I am expecting some pushback. Update 3. So I went back through Oops comments and read them completely differently than you did. The comment about AP being in the hospital was in response to someone telling her not to believe her husband, just claiming the AP was hurt. BC, he is a practiced liar. There was also this exchange between another commenter and Oop commenter. There are moments when people deserve to be punched in the face. Yes, I know I am advocating violence here. Oop, what a disgusting comment. Commenter, it was in support of you, but if that is how you feel, I will happily withdraw it. Oop, I don't want support from wife beaters. Commenter, I was talking about your husband deserving to be punched, not the mistress. Who says a thing like that? Oop, okay, sorry, I misunderstood you. But she got punched literally, so I thought you condoned it. I won't punch my husband. Nobody is worth me losing my humanity. Oop also has the following comments. Nobody deserves to be hurt, especially not children, but I didn't know what a disgusting garbage comment. Nobody deserves to be beaten by their spouse. And this exchange, commenter, why didn't you confront him first? Were you simply seeking revenge? Did you get what you wanted? Oop, yes, I was seeking revenge. No, I expected them to feel ashamed and apologize. Emphasis mine. I think it's worth remembering that we're reading this on a compressed time scale, with all the facts before us, but Oop probably got bits and pieces of information, miscommunication, and miscommunicated herself. It's a little hard to parse. BC, the two paragraphs aren't as fully connected as you might expect, but my read of this comment, yes, when her child is old enough because she didn't want to share custody with her husband. That's what I gathered from when I was reading their messages. That's exactly what happened. You wrote it better is that the first paragraph is what she understood from reading the messages between her husband and his AP, that the AP was waiting for the child to be older. BC, she didn't want to share custody, but didn't know why. The second paragraph, the response to the commenter, is an acknowledgement of what has happened since everything blew up, and her understanding of the situation now, in hindsight. I also think that her idea of revenge was the same thing we see in a lot of these our stories, tearful recriminations, begging for forgiveness, etc., maybe a little bit of public shaming. That's partly why she repeatedly mentions how he doesn't care about the divorce, he doesn't care about me telling everybody, etc. The rough patches in their marriage bit, I gotta say, that sounds a lot like the husband was constantly complaining about Oop to her and other people/family, to the point where she began to believe she was the sole, screeching harpy of a problem in the marriage. But husband is also someone who refuses to apologize, is only nice to his wife when he wants sex, and cheats on Oop. Update 4. Unfortunately, I could not convince court to give me sole custody even with my husband's pending legal issues due to him not having any priors. He however succeeded to limit my family's access, citing parental alienation. I am not allowed my children around my family without supervision, MIL. All of these actions are temporary however until we get a court date. He is refusing to meet or talk to me for any reason besides texting about the children. He is not in jail. For those who are asking, he has no priors, so he is out. He will probably not be getting any jail time either, but rather parole. Anyway, his mistress has secretly recorded some of the abuse she was getting from her husband, and she has sole custody of their child now. She has moved to our city and she and her child are living with my Mill. Yes, Mill, and from what I have gathered, she lives with my husband on the days I have the children. Today I was out with my children and my friend and her children to have Mother's Day brunch. I was the happiest I've been for months because I got a bouquet of flowers and chocolate that is signed for my children, world's best mom, and I knew that it was for my husband. Anyway, when we arrived to the restaurant, there he was with his mistress and her child. They were celebrating Mother's Day too. Her son was sitting between them and she had gift papers and flowers all around her on the table. I froze and wanted to leave, but he came and apologized and said that he didn't mean for this. She was crying and hugging her son. I wanted to faint because my children were so excited to see him and wanted to go inside and eat brunch with their dad. He told our children that it was Mommy's day, then he asked me if I wanted her to leave so the children can have lunch with both of us. I just left with the children and took them to McDonald's instead. He sent me a long text saying how sorry he was and how he wished that he loved me as much as I deserved and that he wished me to find love soon. He doesn't regret our marriage and hope I don't either, because we got our beautiful children out of it that we need to raise and to not punish them because of what he did. Please let us not let our resentment of each other to spill out on our children. Let us promise to keep them happy and loved. Let us not use them as pawns. I asked him what I lack that she has. A question that had been living rent-free inside my head. He said to stop this. This is futile. I insisted and I called him and he answered for the first time in months. I told him I wanted to know. No matter how harsh the truth was, I can't live without knowing. He said nothing. I lack nothing and she is not better in any way. He just loves her and loves himself when he is with her. He feels real and genuine happiness with her that he never felt in his entire life. I hang up and he texted, I am sorry. This is the truth you asked for. You are not less than. You lack nothing. Please let us give our children the good life they deserve. Don't hurt them to hurt me. I don't know what I have done in my previous life to deserve this. The way he was with her. He never looked at me that way, not even when we first met. I don't know how to stop thinking about them. It is in my brain all day. I want full custody of my children and I will fight for it as much as I can. She will. I'll never be their stepmother. Her custody is not finalized either, and hopefully she will have to move back to her city so her husband can have visitation rights and she is out of my life. If my husband wants to move to be with her, my children stay with me.